everybody, it's Bobby, and today I'd like to address an issue that people complain about so often, and rightfully so, because it's frustrating. And it goes something like this: why can I not hit my 3, 4, and 5 iron as consistently, as solid as I can my 8, 9, and wedge? Why is it that my long irons are not as consistent as my short iron? And it's true. You know, I've slowed down many people's golf swings on video, and I can tell you that the quality of swing that most people use to swing their 3, 4, and 5 iron does not match the excellent standard that they've set with their short irons, their 8, 9, and wedge. And so if you can swing either one of them well, then that means you can swing the other one well. The question is, what's missing in the one that you're having a hard time with? What are you doing well with your short irons that you're not doing so well with your long irons? And to illustrate this point, I'm going to throw my wedge and my 4 iron down for just a moment, because I'm going to talk about what is missing. Well, centrifugal force is missing. It's something you employ very well with a shorter club, and sometimes can go missing when the club gets longer in your hand. Centrifugal force is the outward force created by something moving away from a turning axis. So if I just stand here and I give my arms no agency whatsoever, they're nothing but lifeless chains hanging at my side, and I start turning my torso, suddenly my arms are going to start going out to horizontal. That's centrifugal force. And if I turn fast enough, I'm going to feel the blood rush to my fingertips. That's centrifugal force. And believe me, if someone accidentally walked up on me when I was illustrating this point, I'd probably score a knockout, because there's some real power when you're talking about energy coming from a turning axis. Now, let's do it a different way. This time I'm going to give my arms complete agency. I'm going to take this arm by itself with no connection to a turning axis and see how fast I can move it from right to left, my right to left. Well, I can do that all day long, but I will never feel that same blood rush. There's no centrifugal force, and in this case, not near the amount of power. A lot more effort. That took more effort, it seemed to me, but a whole lot less in the way of real power. Now, how does that relate to a golf swing? Well, when someone has a pitching wedge in their hand, they tend to allow the golf club to swing. You look at this thing. It looks well suited for the task of getting the ball airborne, so you're not nervous about that. And you've pulled it out of the bag with a reasonable expectation of how far it's supposed to go. You're not trying to get ultimate distance out of it. You've assigned it to a certain yardage, and you're just going to swing it. So what does the average person do? Well, they're not scared. They're not intimidated by it. So they allow the arms to remain lifeless throughout the entire swing. They give the arms no agency whatsoever, and the ball gets in the way of a nice centrifugal force-generated golf swing. And that thing comes off there nicely. Now, how does that change when you get a long iron in your hand? Well, again, I've slowed this down on video, and I can tell you what changes. Either intimidated by the less loft on the club, or the fact that there's less head weight, or perhaps a combination of the two, the club just looks more difficult for the individual to hit. And the way a person typically responds to that is swinging down, everything's fine, but somewhere about impact, the body stops turning, and the arms are given agency. They are used, and they tend to swing past one center point without the body. With a wedge, the body kept turning. With his long iron, the body stops, the arms hit, and at the end, when they take a picture, it looks like everything flowed together, but there was a little stop hit in the middle. What we should do is never give the arms agency. They should always be lifeless chains with no responsibility of their own to create force. They are being swung. They're not doing the swinging. And so in the same way that I swung through and allowed the arms to stay back, they're going to eventually catch that golf ball. I don't have to rush them ahead. That's not going to do me any good. The same way I did with a wedge, I'd like to do that with my 4 iron. And that ball will take off like a rocket. You won't believe the difference. Don't give your arms agency when hitting a long iron. Keep them out of the fight, just like you do with your wedge, and you'll be amazed at the results. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week.